What up? It's your boy Dave B, and you're watching Dave B on TV, where we go beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And I wanted to make a quick video talking about dealing with stress. You know, we got all this Virgo energy going on right now, so it's like, how do we deal with the pressure? How do we deal with stress? Let's just break down Virgo off the bat. You know, Virgo is very mental. Virgo is in the mind, analyzing deeply about things. And the thing about it is, you know, the reason Virgo is so deep is because Mercury holds the exaltation in Virgo. So when Mercury is in Virgo, Mercury not only loves to be in Virgo, but it gets to do what it loves. And see, we associate Mercury being very young, like Gemini, you know, very young and playful and jovial, almost, here, there, everywhere, getting into this, getting into that. But Virgo is more of like the intellectual child, the child who started to understand things and was kind of like that child that didn't need a lot of adult supervision, or when it was the adults around, adults could see that, or their adults in general were intelligent. So it's like intelligent adults having kids who are intelligent. So there's a certain level of the child being able to feel comfortable and confident in itself, based upon it knowing that, okay, it's starting to understand and analyze things. It's like a child when it starts to get a little more mature. So still a child, but the child who is, actually, in I don't want to say in the advanced classes and stuff like that, but just a child who got it all together. Like, and it may not have it all together because it's a child still, but the point is, it's like a young child who feels confident in the intellect, there's a certain level of confidence in that state. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were a child who feels intelligent, you go through those adolescent years, kind of knowing that it's like knowing where you're going, almost like, I almost want to say Virgo is almost like still a kid, but like more of like I don't want to say a teenager, but like, yeah, like maybe a preteen or something like that, where a preteen who knows their life path, who got their life together, got parents who got it together, and it was like, okay, and they kind of know where they're going a little bit. So it's like a child able to still enjoy youth, but at the same time, the mind, the mental complexity of knowing how they want to live as an adult, right? And they don't, of course, you haven't been through the maturity yet. You haven't been through the, eighth house yet necessarily. You haven't gone to the depths of things. You haven't seen the full fall. You at the end of summer. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Gemini being right before we get to summertime. So think about a kid at that state. It's like, it's like angsty. It can't wait to get outside. And then it's like, now it's all about the fun. So Gemini goes into having fun. And then Mercury goes into having fun, right? It's communicating, talking to everybody in class about what they finna do for summer break. It can't stop talking. It's too excited. It's curious. It wants to get into everything when the summer comes. The summer comes, it gets into the things it wanted to get into. And then by the time it gets to Virgo, it's like satisfied with the curiosity. Still thinking, still analyzing, but that's the thing, analyzing. So less curious, trying to get into things just to get into it, trying to see information just to see information, more mature, like, I know what information I want to look into. And at this point, I'm studying, or at this point, I'm deciding on the information. I'm less curious, more taking the information to be broken down and made sense of. So that's where where I get the mature aspect of Virgo, So, when it comes to the Virgo energy right now, right, we're dealing with a lot of energies that are hitting us in ways that are pressing us about transforming. Things haven't been working, what I'm saying? Certain things haven't been working. And it's okay, what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. We're all in a situation where we got to change. Pluto is in, those late degrees of Capricorn. And again, Pluto is like, whatever area you have Pluto in, it's about taking power and control over that. So you're being constantly pressured to address this. My bad. To address this in your life right now. You're being constantly pressured right now to address this. And then Uranus being in retrograde. Uranus is just, again, trying so many, it knows it needs to change. So you're either cycling through changes or you're putting it off. Now, when we're talking about dealing with stress, right there, now this is more of a understanding how to think about stress than it is giving you the exact technique, or I don't know, you know what I'm saying? However you feel as though it's helpful, it's helpful. Cool, I'm not gonna think about it too hard. Try to tell you what it is, but look, what it is stress. A lot of times build up when we don't attack things that we need to attack in the time that it needs to be attacked. We put it off. We allow ourselves to escape, right? And if we're talking about Virgo is known for stress. So if we talk about the opposite of stress, you think of Pisces, right? Even though Pisces stress themselves out in other ways, but the point being is the Pisces energy a lot of times is in the theme of escapism, is looking at things as wanting to, again, it's about chasing the feeling or allowing the feeling to affect it to where now it's a chameleon. So if it's feeling a certain way, it's going to adjust towards that way. And a lot of times this could be seen as, inconsistent from a lot of other individuals, dealing with, like if you have Pisces people in your life, a lot of times this could confuse you a little bit about who they are. Because, even when they talk about Pisces, a lot of times, as far as like, they say that's like where the ego is dissolved and all that shit, they be talking crazy. But the point that what they mean by that is just the way the Pisces energy is constructed. It's mutable water. So in whatever way it feels, it's how it starts to form and curve and starts to participate. So, you think of anything dropping in water, it changes the direction of the water. You know what I'm saying? Or there's water settled, which is, what you might think, and then that's the thing too, depending on where you meet a Pisces and stuff like that. That might be, you got to understand where their normal current is. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to change slightly, right? And this is why, again, I always talk about having an anchor and stuff like that. But, I'm already getting sidetracked. But to finish this point out, a higher octave Pisces will have an anchor, a focus or something like that to where no matter where they turn, they still can stay the same person. Pisces that's on the lower octave might get lost in whatever it feels. So it changes completely 180. That's where you get I woke up one day and, and sometimes, again, a lot of times that swaying, sometimes it be a very clear decision for a Pisces to completely switch up, but again, it comes from the feeling. But with an anchor and like certain moral systems and Pisces who've done a certain amount of work on themselves, again, that change won't be so radical. It won't be so it won't be too affected by how the emotions are affecting it or how it feels. It'll know how to use its feelings. And so even if it does bend, it don't break, it don't change who it is, whoever that individual it is. It won't change them completely or make them completely a different person to where now you're like, damn, I can't even recognize you. Or, sometimes like it gets crazy, it gets crazy. But like I said, we're talking about stress. That Pisces energy a lot of times will have you escaping, have you running from the things that you need to address and be responsible for in the moment. And so that's where stress stems from. Not attacking things when it's time to attack them, not addressing things when it's time to address them. So right now, a lot of the things that are accumulating stress, like I was just talking about, are these changes. Because that's the thing, we know something needs to change. And the importance of understanding this grand Earth trine is because, see, with Pluto, that's the thing. Wherever Pluto you have, like whether you have Pluto in the first house, taking power and control over your personal life. If you have Pluto in the second house, taking control of your values and what you actually have to offer and where your confidence is at, taking control of that, right? If it's your third house, surroundings, taking control over your situation and the situation that's surrounding you. You know, whether that be people, friends that you're involved with, people that you talk to on a daily basis, or just things you're familiar with, things, cycles and routines, small forms of routines, not sixth house that are intentional routines, but things as far as like you walk home every day, you're gonna see the same tree. You know, the routines like that, or like, you know, you might not look at that as a routine, but it's like you do it all the time, or you be around there all the time, or just how you know what I'm saying? We all have little routines that we do around the house. Like you might open the fridge every day. You know, that's not an intention. Like open the fridge and then stare at it, and then like, you know, and then close it, and then go over to the sink, make you a cup of water, drink the water, go back to the fridge as if something new's in there, walk in the pantry. There's these little routines we do that's like not intentional routines, but just things we're familiar with, just because we're familiar with the location and we just know how to hang around it. That's what I mean by that. You know, fourth house, taking control over your family or your private life. You know what I'm saying? Taking control of your family. That sounds a little deep, but it's your domestic issues, whether they're the issues that you keep inside yourself, your insecurities. A lot of times, like that's like a domestic issue as well. Your insecurities, like how you secure your own self, how you feel comfortable, taking control, power, and power control over your ability to feel comfortable. You know, you might need to put a little more energy and effort into making yourself comfortable, even if you're not. You know, getting comfortable or uncomfortable is one of the coldest things you can do down here, just because everything down here is going to make you uncomfortable. And the more you get used to that and accept that and understand that there's nowhere to run, the better you'll also understand how to deal with stress. Fifth house, you need to take power and control over your what you are entertained by. Also, in what you're entertained by, and how you present and express yourself. You know, your presentation might be off, or you might fall victim to people talking about you, and now you walk into a room, you don't take the initiative to present yourself. So there's already things on the surface that people are assuming about you, but you haven't cleared the room. Like sometimes it's not about proving nothing to nobody, but when you, again, fifth house shit, you gotta state your claim. Sometimes you gotta walk into a room and be like, you know, present yourself, even if it's in the way you look. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's about people care about how they look, presenting yourself in the right way, knowing what room you're stepping into. That's a very Leo-like thing to do, or fifth house thing to do. Knowing the room you're stepping into, or your creative endeavors, your creativity, taking power and control over that. You know you got talents. You know you got creative gifts and stuff like that. Show up for it. You know, take power and control over that. Whether that means learning how to monetize that shit, or just standing in knowing, hey, I'm nice at what I do. I enjoy making these things, so put it out. You know, sixth house, again, taking power and control over your routines, your patterns, your schedule system and stuff like that. You need to take power and control over this, because also your health. You know what I'm saying? These might be things you just, again, you might not see it as important right now. You might not see the why, you know what I'm saying, why it's important at the moment. But that's the thing about this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's all about preparation and progress. Like, the energy's here for the time it's here. You'll always miss the lesson trying to wait till something shows you why something is important to participate in. If you don't participate in the time to participate, you've missed it. You know what I'm saying? And that's something we have to understand too when it comes to this astrology shit. It's like, you miss it, you miss it. So while it's here, participate. And that's with life in general. You're young. Participate in life. Stop being scared of life. You know what I'm saying? You know, and again, not just being young, even in old age, there be things that are going on in life that you can participate in, that you're gonna want to participate in. You know what I'm saying? You keep saying, I want to get closer to my grandkids. Get closer to your grandkids. Do that shit then. You know, or you know, and that's the thing. We get caught up in talking about stuff. We don't take power and control over that. And that's the thing about stress as well. See, things like this stress us out, because we think about it and we just tuck it, But it's like a lot of these things that we think about, we need to get out. It has to facilitate. That's what stress is. It's a buildup of wanting to do things with your sun sign. Like if you think of everything you decide to do with your sun sign, right? And it goes beyond astrology, but I don't know why, but things you want to do with your sun sign, right? It's like you got all these things you want to do. If you don't do them, they just become a pile. They pile up. They pile up on you mentally because they become things that's just in your mind. You didn't facilitate it and make it something that can be released. You didn't express it. You didn't do it. It's not expression as in a feeling. It's an action. We're talking about thoughts now. Actions. Masculine shit. Even if, masculine shit. Putting things out. You thought about it. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. Before you know it, you have this big pile of wants on your mind. You wonder why you can't do anything. And that's the thing. It stresses you out because you've accumulated too much. So now you don't know what to do with your actions. You don't know what to do with your sun sign. Because you don't let Mercury get too hyped up. Like, Mercury want to do everything. Like, you ever had, again, a hyperactive kid. Want to do everything. You want to do everything. But it's like, what the fuck? You got to pick one. Pick one thing to do, or you're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? A lot of parents have had that conversation with their kid. Like, calm down, slow down, pick one thing, or we're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? It's too much. You know what I'm saying? A kid, when they wake up, immediately trying to get into something. Like, kids don't even consider like when you older, you get up, you need a moment of silence. A lot of people grab their phone, but even in that phone, like, you don't want to talk to nobody. You just looking at what's going on. So you might just, again, but the point being, a lot of times as an adult, you don't speak for a good hour and a half if you don't have to in the morning time. So but with a kid, immediately as they come out they sleep, I want to get this. I want to do this. I want to have fun. I want to turn the TV on, give me the tablet, give me the immediately after a kid comes up. So that's like that Mercury energy. And also speaking to the exaltation too, see, when you have the exaltation, see, and there's the negative side of having think about the analogy I was given with a child that's more mature, preteen, but you get a preteen who's too intellectual, too smart for their own good, right? To where now their mind is analyzing about things they don't need to. So they're stressing about things they don't need to. They're listening in to their parents' conversations and taking their parents' problems as their own, stressing about other people's shit. That's the exaltation of Mercury on the negative end. Also, overthinking about things that, again, a kid don't need to worry about. You don't need to worry about what's going to happen 10 steps ahead of yourself. Sometimes we drown ourselves in that kind of stress too. We think about the goals that we have and what it's going to actually take to fulfill that. That right there is the exaltation of Virgo as well, getting too lost in those details. So now, again, you don't even allow space for the universe, the beauty of Pisces, to, what they, bless, what I'm saying? We not less, but, like how they say miracles and things, working in your favor, divine intervention, all that shit that they give name to. It's just that Pisces energy working within the gaps of the Virgo energy, not stressing about every second. So you can't plan everything out. There has to be things that happen. You know what I'm saying? And then also there needs to be a meaning and reasoning to give that routine and pattern life, to give that routine and pattern some color and some purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because without that, again, that becomes very stale, outdated, and there becomes no strive for expansion. That Pisces energy comes through with the Jupiter. See, that's the Jupiter being added. That's the difference. Like, that's why I always talk about opposition signs and why it's good to understand. But you got to know your opposite sign, because that's where the gems be. You know what I'm saying? Routine and pattern will get the dream made. But see, the importance of Jupiter in the equation is the expansion, because without afford a inspiration or a desire to expand, that routine and pattern becomes stale, and that's where that you get a stale energy. You get an energy that's dry in that kind of way. Stale. It's not no life in it. There's no meaning to it. There's no reasoning. There's no above and beyond to it. There's no, connection to it, where I can now, where others want to join you in your, like, if you're working towards a dream, you gotta establish a routine and pattern. That becomes your work day, or whatever you do as far as a system to monetize whatever your business is, or to, again, be an artist. That movement is that routine and pattern is like making the songs and shit like that. But if there's no way to connect, if you can't connect what you've been working on, your business won't be successful. If you can't, again, yeah, you could be in the lab all day, but if what you're doing in that lab doesn't produce something that's able to connect, that routine and pattern might make you the best in what you're doing, but it won't matter. You know what I'm saying? It won't matter. It won't actually mean anything. You know what I'm saying? It won't. That's where it lacks connection. But that's just I'm just, I don't know, shit be coming through. But yeah. So dealing with stress, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with stress, man. So how do we, like I said, it's about facilitating that shit, about learning how to facilitate that shit, facilitate it through your actions. So stop thinking so much about what, again, you got to do. Start just doing it, or if you find yourself stressed, slow it down. Understand that all it is your mind being filled up with things that you want to do. So instead of worrying about what's the right thing to do and stagnating yourself further, stressing yourself out more, condense it to just one thing. Deciding to do one thing that relates to, at first it don't even gotta relate to the goal. But again, that's why I say meaning and reasoning. Start doing one thing that relates to a goal you got, and then complete it, and do your best to complete it. Once things are completed, it's like you've cleared the queue. You've cleared the list. Oh, get one thing checked off the list, and then that's where you can have a mini form of celebration within yourself, where you're just like, again, not getting too satisfied at just doing one thing. You got to move on to the next thing. But again, these things be internal confident boosters. This is how you validate yourself, because when you got, again, you can't get it all done in a day, but when we stress ourselves out, that's the feeling. That's what we feel like we got to do. I got to do it all today, right now. I wasted all this time thinking about what songs to make. I want to make a song right now today. Like, you got to calm down. Or I want to make an album right now today. It's like, calm down. You just got inspired to make a song. Take that one song and complete it. One song plus another one song plus again, and you rinse and repeat, you will eventually have an album. That takes away the stress of, oh damn, I got to do it all now. I want to make this kind of song, and I want to make this kind of song, and what if I can't market this in time? Maybe again, your mind could go so many different places, but again, that's just adding stress. When you add more things you want to do, calm it down. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with stress really comes down to you being able to cut through the bullshit and execute one thing. You know what I'm saying? Cut through the bullshit. And that's what we're dealing with right now. A lot of it is dealing. And did I finish? I don't even think I finished. I think I stopped at the 5th house. Oh, no, 6th house. I was talking about routine impact. Yeah. So just to complete this, right? Because, well, let me finish my point. My point was just, again, you cut through the bullshit, simplify it, do one thing at a time, and don't worry about what's not getting done in this time or what's not getting done in that time. Now, it's okay to prioritize, but again, prioritizing leads to overanalyzing, because you start to put one thing as more important than the other thing. But at the end of the day, look, do what you feel is important. Now, if you have evidence, is like, for instance, you got something to do that is like pertaining to your resources, like, you got to get this done for your resources, do that shit first. Don't be playing around. Do the shit you got to do. But my point being, After that, like, and that's a good way to start too. Understanding stress, understanding what's important and what to prioritize. You know what I'm saying? That's like step number two. It's like, first of all, it's like, well, maybe that might be step number one. I don't even put an order to this, but my thing is you have to prioritize first. Matter of fact, it is first. You got to prioritize what's what is your stability, or what is your resources hanging on. And then if it's for your business or your dream, what is the form, what is, yeah, and a lot of times we're just talking about content creation and stuff like that, but what is the one thing that you know you need to do consistently every day to see results in that dream or in that goal? So prioritize. So again, I guess that's a good word of advice just for any situation dealing with stress. Learn how to prioritize. Once you learn how to prioritize, simplify. One thing at a time. Boom, do that thing. Get it complete execution. So we have, what I just say? We have prioritize, right? Simplify, pick one. So prioritize, pick one. I gotta write this down for myself. Prioritize, pick, and then complete. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to find another P word, but hey, you know what I'm saying? Complete. You know what I'm saying? Prioritize, pick, and complete. You know what I'm saying? And once you complete, then do the next. You know, and you do it one by one. And that way, again, and when you create a routine and pattern, that you can do this early. You know, and that's what I'm working on right now too. Is like learning how to do this shit early. Because I was always terrible about this. I remember in class, like, you know, in college and shit like that, you taking like 5 classes at one time. You know that the deadline is on a day, but you don't start to react and respond to that deadline until it's imminent, you know, until it's like in panic zone, until it's happening tomorrow. And you be like, oh shit, now you stressed. But the ironic thing is you were stressed when you first got the assignment because it was something in your mind as something to do. That's the thing. Stress just comes from shit in our mind that we haven't done yet with our actions. Like, that's really where it comes from. Because all stress is mental. And it's mental. It's being in a mental, and again, that's what it does. It creates a mental cage for yourself because you stop being able to be free to get new ideas. Or if you do got new ideas, it just makes you more stressed because you can't get to doing them ideas. And some people, you know, and you might convince yourself that, well, I'm just stockpiling on ideas and stuff like that. But it's like, that's the thing. Like, think about how many thoughts you have in a day. It's too much. Because the difference between the idea, these be things that you on some level intend to want to do. And if you got too many intentions, understand what's going on. Like, understand that when you got too many intentions, you lack, I want to say, precision. You lack aim. It's hard to aim if you got too many different things that you're trying to hit. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about looking at it like, well, I'm a multitasker, or I'm a master of none, or I'm a no, it's about clearing space. You know what I'm saying? Clearing space and stuff like that, and being real with yourself to a degree to say, you know, yeah, we gotta do the things we say we finna do. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. And then a lot of this is just a lot of the keys. This is a lot of keys for masculine energy as well. Even if you are a female, how to work with your, you know, masculine energies to keep you from being stressed. Because that's all stress is. It's just an accumulation of wants and stuff like that. So yeah, that's breaking down stress and stuff like that. Now let's finish out what I was gonna do. Yeah, 7th house, taking power and control over your relationships and who you're relating to, taking power and control over how you relate, and also the values that you exert. You know what I'm saying? You offering help, taking power and control over who you decide to help. 8th house, taking power and control over your desires and your passions and your deep missions, and also your business that no one knows about. You know, taking power and control over those things, whether they be demons or they be just, you know, things that you do behind closed doors and no one knows. It's your shit, your business. Also, your occult practices. So how you go about approaching your goals, but from a behind the scenes, way. Whether occult practices be like the rituals and spells that we do. They don't always have to be crystals and gems and candles and stuff like that. But again, your occult practices, just the things you do to keep up on your desires that nobody needs to know about. Your secrets. Yeah. Ninth house, taking power control over your experience. You're going through what you're going through right now. Taking power control over that can mean learning, learning, getting up to speed on what you need to learn, But again, taking power over what you know more so, not going out and needing more knowledge and stuff like that. That if we were dealing with Jupiter, and Jupiter's in retrograde, so that might be what's going on right now. But Pluto taking power over what you know. So taking what you know and doing something with it. Not being afraid of life. Not letting what you know keep you from doing shit. Oh, I'm too scared to do that because I feel like, my wisdom, Also taking power and control over faith. Believing in the right things. But 10th house. 10th house. Status, taking power control over your status. What you're known for, and making it known that, again, whether good or bad, whatever it is, either you're gonna have to own up to it, or taking power control over it can be changing it and transforming it, transmuting it. You known for something bad, transmute it to something good. It's for something good, take advantage of that. Power control over it. Don't let nobody else write the narrative. 11th house, your network, taking power control over how you associate, who you associate with. Making sure that shit is in line with your goals and how you want to go about life and shit like that. And then 12th house, taking power control over your dreams, and all of these things relating to, the time we're in right now. Changes need to be made in order for that to happen. And that's why I say Pluto being, like I was talking about Pluto specifically through the signs, because that needs to happen. That's the only thing that's not retrograde right now, as far as aside from the sun. But that's the gift, seeing that and being able to act on that shit. But you gotta take power over that before you can actually see a lot of these changes. The changes are going through a retrograde period. So again, changes are important, but these changes are happening trying to figure out which one worked. Trying to go back and say, like, what's gonna work, which one's gonna hit. But it's like you have to look at the root of things as well. You have to kind of look at things and be like, okay, but what am I actually taking power and control over? And then once you get in behind, there's many different ways to approach this, but take some power back. Take your power back. Use the sun to take your power back, and then the changes will make more sense. And the changes is what's going to be fixated. That's the fixated part of the earth. But again, we can find our uniqueness by finding our power. Different ways to look at this shit, man. I like looking at it from different ways. But yeah. That's what it's all about with this shit. So I think I covered it, for the most part. When it comes to stress, prioritize, pick, and complete. Wish I had another P word. I just can't think of one. But maybe provide. Prioritize, pick, and provide. Like, provide yourself, provide it. Make sure you proficient. I don't know, yeah. But anyway, much love, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.